Had a bit of a crash there, had to redo a few things, but no problem. It was just the work of a few minutes. Let's go ahead, now we've got, if we look down, I've managed to get that channel dug out. So now we've got this big air gap right in front of our base when the bridge is up. Now nothing can leave, and what's more, only, like, basically nothing can get to the wall to destroy it. So this is a really effective way to seal up the front gate to your base, because it doesn't matter what they do, they really can't get to it unless they sit there and build a bridge, which they're not going to do. They're freaking goblins or whatever. There are some special situations where things can destroy this bridge, but odds are you're not going to see it early on, and odds are you're not going to see it, period. What's also really interesting is if they do sit there and start building a bridge or what they're doing, or breathing fire, whatever they think they can do to burn down this bridge, you can pull the lever to lower it. Anything underneath the drawbridge, when the drawbridge lowers, is destroyed. Doesn't matter if it's a bronze colossus from the great ages in the past, a fire-breathing dragon, or a tiny little goblin. Doesn't matter, they die. So, we've got this little extra hole up here, which I'll just mouse around and you can kind of see there. We want to get rid of that. So what we're going to do is build a door there. And just, that's fine, just a little door. And as soon as that's in, what we're going to do with it is we're going to actually forbid the passage of it. So this is a door that we're going to have. We're going to forbid the passage so that nothing can go through. We're going to keep it tightly closed as well. So this door shouldn't be opened except in times of great duress. It's our hidden door. And that's fine, but invaders could still somehow smash through, right? It's a door. It could be smashed. It's a wooden door, so it doubly could be smashed. So, and it's just set in, in dirt, so, presumably could be rooted up from its moorings. Let's go ahead and fix that by adding a little bit of extra stuff to this. Oh, and by the way, before we forget, let's make sure to go ahead and add a task here to pull this lever and let the main door out, because right now no one can get out of the base, which is not exactly what we want. Alright, well, what we'd like to do is make sure that we don't have any sneaky thieves coming in right now. And we'd like to just sort of generally provide a layer of defense around our area. So what we're going to do is go to our carpenter's workshop, add a task, and we're going to build a few cages. Let's just build, let's build 5. Oh, nope, not what I wanted to do. Cancel that task, add a cage with the J key, and there we go. We got 5 cages. So let's go ahead and get that going. Our carpenter will make swift work of that. Meanwhile, we're almost done with the first set of floor tasks, so that's pretty exciting. And we've got a whole bunch of stuff going. Whoa! Whoa! What's going on over here? Look at that. We've got a bunch of badgers. I wonder if our hunter is out hunting these. We got a badger sow, a badger sow, and we have a badger boar here. They have a little like family of badgers just running by. What are you guys doing? I think you look pretty delicious. Pretty delicious indeed. So also, I wanted to note that if you look up at our base from up here, it looks kind of cool, right? There's just this sudden cliff and then a little bridge that sticks down, and then, you can see a couple of things down there. It looks cool in both the isometric view and in the regular view. So I think that our base is really coming together. What we'd like to do pretty soon is probably go around here and make it so that no one else can get up here but us. This is a nice little area that we could basically make into like a nice roof garden and things like that. But before, so we've got the carpenter's things going. That'll take a moment. Let's make sure though that we start producing things of value. We're going to unsuspend the construction, and let's make sure that we get that craft workshop done. There we go. Finally going to go up. Now with that craft workshop, what we're going to want to do is just start making rock crafts. These aren't too complicated. Wait, no, we want to cancel that. We don't want to make cloth. We want to make rock crafts with the G key. So we're just going to go ahead and make crafts, and we're going to repeat that. And we really want to just get someone there so that we have something to trade of value. Because we can try and get some metal going, but it's definitely going to be difficult to get something get some going in that regard. We're also kind of struggling on food, so let's make sure before the summer's done to set up. We haven't configured this one plot yet, so let's go ahead and let's add a cave wheat for the summer. For autumn, we're going to have cave wheat, and then for winter, we're going to stick with plump helmets, and then for spring, which is already passed, we're going to stick with plump helmets. That should be good. Now, we've got a fair amount of stuff going on, but we still want to generate value, and we need to make sure, let's see, how is our cages doing? We done with those yet? No, we're still waiting on those. As soon as we can get some cages, that'll be good. We also want to make sure to start producing value in other ways, right? Because we have a whole bunch of value that we want to produce. So let's go ahead and focus on some other things. For one, dwarves are famous for their alcohol, and also they like to drink it. So let's go ahead and make some of their alcohol. In this case, what we'd like to do is add a little bit of a brewery. So let's build a workshop, so BW, and then we want to build a brewery. And in this version, actually, I'm showing my data, it's called a still. So we hit L. And then we just go up here, and we're going to put it in our craft dwarfs area, right? We're just going to go ahead and put it down, I guess over in this corner, since it's not really part of the regular crafts. And we'll go ahead and make it out of I don't know, quartzite? Sure, quartzite. That sounds cool. Let's get back to the setup. Now, our dwarves are modestly happy. They're settlers, so they're sort of resigned to their fate, but we probably want to start improving their lot fairly soon. That includes just more luxuries, more floors, more beautiful objects. So, you know, there's a bunch of stuff we can do there. You can see our brewery went up, so let's go ahead and brew drink from plants, extract. So we don't have any plants. Really? How about we brew drink from plants? Can we do that? Why can't we do it? It's not. We're missing plants. I think what that means, and maybe this is a really noobish thing on my part, is that no one has the gather plants labor. I noticed that we just really haven't been picking up plants. So let me go ahead and add that really quick. We have plant gathering here. So let's go ahead and find whoever our hunter is and add plant gathering, because it seems to me like we definitely need to get some plants, and our hunter can't be hunting 100% of the time. That's just not reasonable. So Urvad, you're our naturalist now. So we're going to have you also be part plant gathering. Let's go ahead and commit that. Let's also just read our dwarves with the read key and see what they're all up to. And you can see very few people, only 2 are actually idle, and Urvad's one of them, so no problem. By the way, we have a very female-dominated crew. It's interesting, huh? I'm not really sure what the colors are about. It's not something I entirely understand. Maybe that means, I don't know. Don't know what it means. I'll have to look up that, because that's a new feature. They used to be all one color. I wonder if there's, like, you know, gender diversity now or so. I don't know. Anyways, so we've also got some cages coming up. Let's see. Are those cooked up yet? Sometimes it can take a while. Yeah, so I wonder what is our carpenter doing? It should be something that our carpenter handles. Our carpenter, all in, is, our carpenter's on break. Dwarves, as industrious as they are, do need breaks, and so they will take them from time to time. Sometimes not when you want them to, like, you know, when you're recording a session. But Allin gets a break, just like everybody else. You know, and so you can't really begrudge Allin the fact, in fact, Allin's already back at work. Allin, I don't doubt you in any way. So Allin's going to start to make these cage traps. And that's going to be important for us going forward, because we definitely want to, you know, what we need to do is have basically someone who's fairly good with these sorts of things. So I'm going to add some more crafts, and I'm going to go ahead and remove this off repeat for now. And then we're going to get some more. There we go. We've already got some plants gathered. So let's go ahead and brew some drinks. So basically, we're going to have these cages come up, and we're going to use those for defense. Now, in the meantime, I also want to do one other thing. Before fall comes, we want to make sure to be ready to start trading the goods that we're going to be producing, or at the very least, some of the things that we found, right? And to do that, what we're gonna aim for here is we're gonna aim for a trading post. So if we go build and then capital T for trading post, or I'm sorry, capital D as in dog for trading post. This is a really big structure, right? And it's going to require an architect's attention. We're going to go ahead and make this out of willow logs because we have a lot, and it takes 3 of them, so it is quite a bit. But that's where our traders can go. Traders bring huge wagons in, you know, nice big area to wheel in. But also, we don't really trust traders or necessarily want to defend them. It's not our problem if they get killed. In fact, it's sort of good for us because as long as we can deal with whatever took care of them, we can, you know, end up in a pretty good situation overall. Let's see. So we've got our cages now. So let's go ahead and build traps. So B capital T. And now we're going to go ahead and make a cage trap. And we're going to put that cage trap right here. Actually, no, let's forge up this area first. Cage trap right there. And that's just going to be, we're going to use an obsidian mechanism. We're also going to build a cage trap over here, right inside this door. Now, dwarves and our pets won't set off the cage trap, so don't worry about it. However, any well, not everything, but most things will avoid the cage traps, or not be able to avoid the cage traps. Now, thieves can avoid cage traps because they're just terrible. However, a good old-fashioned stonefall trap shuts most things down, including thieves, as long as they're seen. So, and this is a well-trafficked corridor, so the thieves are going to be seen. We're going to put a stonefall trap on the other side of this. So now we've even got traps. We could get more involved if we wanted. But I think this is a pretty good start. So we've got a cage trap to capture something. And if they sneak by that, we've got a stonefall trap to conk them on the head. So that should be a pretty solid start towards defense. And also, like, we're going to have to get some pretty beefy monsters to come in there and break down those doors. That's not necessarily going to happen. So let's go ahead and resume the thing. And let's see if we can get all this stuff built. Because we're on a really, really good start right now. We've got, you know, drinks being brewed. The one thing that worries me is that we don't seem to have anybody making rock crafts. And I'm not really sure why that would be. It kind of bugs me. But we're on a good start right now. Really, actually, all we have to really start thinking about doing is Dwarven happiness, Dwarven crafts for trade, and we also need to think about making more consistent food. I mean, we have a lot of things to think about, but we're on a really good spot now. We're not in imminent danger of starving through the winter. Now, you might say, how do you know that? Well, we can actually take a kind of inventory of our thing. If we hit the Z key, we can see all sorts of status. But there really isn't a ton of data in this about, look, you can see we have a little bit of a problem with plant, but we don't have a great understanding of our food stores. Now, the reason that we don't have a great understanding is we actually haven't assigned any dwarves to sit down and figure out exactly what's going to go on here, nor do we have anybody who really has been tasked with assessing trade for us. So I think probably the next thing we're going to do is hit the N key for nobles and administrators, and we're going to make the expedition leader. We're going to make him, give him a new thing. So we're going to go ahead, actually, we're going to go ahead and set up this, how about, we want the bookkeeper, right? We want to give someone who would be a good record keeper. Toulon, one of our miners, happens to actually be an adequate record keeper. So let's go ahead and give Toulon that job. And yeah, so now we can give the settings, and we really don't need like super high precision. So like the lowest setting, this basically rounds it up to the highest digit. So like if you have 77, it becomes 80. You know, it really, but we'd like to have medium precision. This takes a reasonable amount of time, and it gives us a lot of precision, especially for where we are right now. Or if we have like 200 things, it's going to be perfectly accurate. So medium precision is more than enough. The bookkeeper really won't need anything. Now, it also would help if we go to N again and we set up a manager. Now, a manager is someone who's basically, their job is to sort of, well, their job is to manage other dwarves and make sure that people know what they're doing. As you get into more complicated building profiles, you need a manager to do things effectively. So we're going to go ahead and add a manager. And let's see, does anybody have any skills that we could use? Our other miner is an adequate organizer. So let's go ahead and make our other miner the manager. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. Doesn't really take a ton of time to be a manager. You just kind of got to occasionally drop by, and eventually we're going to stop. Ah, look, it would appear that over here, Allin is doing some work on our trade depot, which is going to be done shortly. So we're really, really ticking along here. So basic food, basic defense, basic value creation. We're sort of going along and just getting the things that we need to proceed, right? We have a fair amount of food. And that's the most important thing. Now, we're going to need a broker soon. So there you can see we have a trade depot where they can bring in their wagons and everything will be great. Really, really cool looking how basically they're just going to come up to this big open place, just come through the grass. Eventually, we could build a road and probably take that road all the way down here through this forest, which I think would be really cool looking, and then take that to the edge of the map. But that's a little bit later on. Right now, we really need to focus more on survival than the niceties. That said, it looks like our floor is almost done, and in fact, we might as well go ahead and go back over here and redesignate the stone detailing job for coal because, I mean, that last one, it's fine. Let's go ahead and toss that on and get that going. And now Call, when Call wakes up, it looks like Call's on break right now from what I look. I just noted to see the name in Stone Sense now. Looks like Call's on break, but pretty soon Call will resume and start smoothing all this area out so that it's a nice area to stand in. Now, I noticed that there are some silhouettes over here of jobs that should be done. There's supposed to be a chair coming in here, but it's not actually there yet. Now, why would that be? If we go ahead and hit Q, we can see that the construction is suspended, probably because there was an animal there. Let's unsuspend the construction of that chair and table, and then let's resume time. Some migrants have arrived. Holy smokes, we've got... Do we have some turkey hens? Is that what we got as the migrants? Where are the migrants? Let's go ahead and wait. Aha! Here we are. We've got some migrants. Check these folks out. Now, who knows what's... Uh-oh, I see a child. Ugh, the worst. Dwarven child. It looks like we've got a thresher and a farmer coming in. A farmer is actually fairly welcome. We got 3 people so far. I wonder how big this migrant wave is. That means we've been doing pretty successfully, and some dwarves have heard about how awesome we are, and so they're going to step in. Now, it's better if they don't bring a child, because a child really can't do very much, and it's fine, but we're just kind of early, you know? We don't necessarily want to have this problem. So hopefully the child won't be too much of an issue because we don't have a lot of places. What's more, we're sort of low on beds. Eventually we need to start actually making dwarves have individual rooms because otherwise, I mean, do you really want to live in just a dormitory for the rest of your life? I know I don't. That would be terrible. I wouldn't want to, I can barely, I don't like really laying next to anybody. I like to have a lot of room to stretch out, you know. Yeah, it's nice to cuddle every now and then, but let's face it, sometimes it's more important just to get a little bit of room for yourself. Well, I think that we're almost done with this session, but before we stop, let's go ahead and dig down a little bit. Now, this is our mine shaft, so we can afford to be a little bit messy right here. And let's just go ahead and dig a little bit of an exploratory shaft here. Similarly, let's go down to that gold, and let's dig out all this gold, right? And let's also dig out a little bit further out. And let's also go like this, and similarly off this way. So that should give us a lot of gold right there. And we'll resume. So now our miners have work to do. And we're going to get some of that gold up.